Hello and welcome back to the Münster Podcast. I am Charles, joined with Ben, and we also have a guest here. We have Dafydd. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello, Dafydd. Let's just get straight into what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Cumgate. We're going to talk about Cumgate and Cumsack. And if you don't know what that is, it's Dominic Cummings and his adventure to Durham, which, if you don't know,
sounds like
is incredibly far from London. It's near Newcastle. This man, this foolish man, decided.
He's just gone across the country.
Yeah, he's just going for a trip, and this isn't something that he did now, in May, where lockdown restrictions are a bit less strict. This is something that he did, at the start, in around March, April. We don't actually really know, I don't think, to be honest.
Gives no exact date.
But either way, it was before the easing of lockdown restrictions, and this man decided that he, go on a fucking Lord of the Rings adventure across the country. So we're talking about Cumgate today. We'll also talk about Boris Johnson, the Conservative Party's dealings with the lockdown, and the Great Britain at the moment as a whole as well. But first we'll talk about Cumgate.
Cumgate.
Cumgate, yeah. I saw that. I was on Twitter. So this was the day that the whole Dominic Cummings kind of scandal, we'll call it, happened, basically. And I just go scroll on Twitter. Hashtag Cumgate was trending in the UK. It was #1 trending in the UK at the time when I saw it. And I was like, what is this? Come back a day later. Pizza Express is trending. Woking is trending. Pizza Express and Woking is trending. And Cumsack is also trending. So I think as a general rule, as a general sort of gist, I think the majority of people, rightly so, are unhappy with him. I mean, personally, I think he did that was a terrible job. That was a terrible mistake. Not only was it a terrible thing to do, but the way that Boris and Dominic Cummings dealt with it, they've seriously messed up. Like, genuinely.
Yeah, there's there's no excuse for it. I wanted to just get a pizza from fucking Woking. Why Woking? Why are you going out all the way there? Just get a fucking
the
takeaway.
Crossover, the Prince Andrew crossover.
Yeah, just go to fucking Co-op. Just get a frozen pizza. You don't have to be Pizza
You probably
Express.
order one as well. Like you do.
Yeah.
This man's rich.
Yeah, you can.
This man is rich.
You can order
by the
one.
way.
Yeah,
He's a politician. They don't get paid scraps.
It's not like it's the only place in the general area you can get pizza. It's not some pilgrimage to get pizza from London to fucking.
Oh, no, we have to do the Dominic Cummings pilgrimage now.
Oh my
Well,
god!
the thing is, for people who are completely oblivious, he's obviously the Chief Advisor to Boris, and he is he's done this to display that his power. If you get what I mean, it's my kind of theory. He's done this because he's like, yeah, I can fucking do what I want. Really.
Yeah, I mean. You can back that up. Like, people that support him will immediately recoil at that idea and be like, "Oh, you're just saying that because you hate Conservatives, you hate Dominic." No, genuinely, his response was really bad. He
didn't apologise.
Yeah, he didn't apologise. Like, he could have.
He's put people's lives at risk, and he didn't apologise.
I think Okay, right. Personally, if I was him, like let's say I was him. Let's say Charles is now Dominic Cummings. Charles Cummings now. Yeah.
Charles Cummings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, if you have that last name, you're going to get bullied.
Yeah,
you're going to get bullied. Like,
Cumgate,
Cumsack.
Cumsack, not sack Cumsack.
Anyway, let's say you were completely adamant that what you did was the right thing, right? But you still remember that your job as a politician, right? And, politicians will do shrewd, unfair, quite morally questionable things, but it's their job.
That's what you need to do.
That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do as your politician.
I never. Politicians doing shady things.
Here's the thing, right? Even if you were like completely set in your head that this was the right thing to do, you could have said sorry that this looked the way it is or something like that. But he didn't say that. He was like straight up. He went balls deep and was like, "I have no regrets."
Yeah, he put his fucking nutsack in his pizza and said, "I'm fine with what I've done." And it's like, what?
He put his cock in the door.
Surely,
the car door, slammed it shut.
He's that bad of a politician, but he's not even good at PR. Like, what's he doing?
I know, like.
I mean, I think he knows exactly what he's doing. I don't know if you know much about the chief advisor role, but it only came about like during Blair, because we don't really have that. Like our whole precedent is we have elected politicians who are always our top advisors and that kind of stuff to our government, or the civil service. But obviously he's neither, and he's just come in without an elected position, and he's basically doing this to show that, yeah, I can pull the strings, I can literally break the rules that I made, and nothing will happen because I'm in this divine place of power that nobody can touch.
Yeah,
So,
and
so
actually
just
because
ego.
of that, yeah, ego.
Oh.
And his response,
Ego.
I mean, Dafydd already mentioned it there, but his response is where you would definitely collate most of your evidence for this idea, because there were when we sat in the Rose Garden, I'm pretty sure, yeah, and they interviewed him. There was no kind of like apologetic tone or something, like even when other politicians, like you could even say for a stretch like Boris Johnson, like when they mess up, they have an apologetic tone. Whether you accept that or not, that's up to you. I mean, usually people reject it because it is put on. Let's be honest, right? But he didn't even put that on. He just went balls deep. And you know what? For that is like a pretty bold move. That's a pretty Chad move. Just like, I don't care. Literally, don't care meme.
It's because it shows that we're going away from that completely democratic prime ministerial government. We're going more towards presidency now.
Yeah, like a smaller set of people.
Yeah, that aren't elected by us.
Yeah, and actually, when this whole Cummings scandal came about, because obviously it was only a day later that Boris Johnson actually addressed it at Downing Street. So when that whole thing came out, I thought, oh my god, Boris Johnson's going to be so pissed. I thought and maybe he is, okay, but I thought that when Boris would address the Dominic Cummings question, I thought he'd be like really pissed off, like visibly, somewhat, I feel like fuming sort of thing, yeah. But actually, he was reasonably calm about it too. And in fact, everyone in that cabinet was reasonably calm about it. I mean, I saw a Michael Gove interview about it.
Oh god.
And first of all, I'd like to just say, right, Michael Gove can't speak English. Like, that man is actually lost. Like,
he's an alien.
Genuinely, to say he's the he was, I don't know, I can't remember if he still is or not, Minister of Education is hilarious because his like does he have like a speech like
impediment? Yeah. I'm not sure,
because when you watch interviews with him, he's not coherent, like genuinely.
Yeah. But what were you saying? What was he saying?
Yeah, sorry, his interview. I didn't know this. I thought the primary reason for Dominic Cummings, coming was his son was at risk or something like that. Yeah. I mean, that's something we've all heard, right? But when I saw his interview, it was with Sky News. It was between Michael Gove and a particularly antagonistic news anchor.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. Right. They were talking about how he left on one particular reason he left was because his eyesight, Dominic Cummings' eyesight.
Yeah.
Apparently his eyesight was bad, so he wanted to test if it was good or not. So he got in his car and he drove.
I heard that.
Yeah. What is that?
What?
Yeah. No, what is that? What does that mean? What does that mean?
So he thought he had coronavirus and it was affecting his eyesight or something. So he was like, "Oh, I'll get in my car and do a test drive." So he did a test drive with his wife, who had coronavirus.
That's so dumb. So what I'm going to do is my eyesight might be damaged, so I'm going to go on the road, potentially put people in danger by potentially driving into, and then also putting them in a secondary danger by, just releasing coronavirus out. This man is backwards. He's an Uno reverse card. What is it?
Yeah. Yes, he is an Uno reverse card.
We have a Dominic Cummings brainlet. We should make that.
Oh my god, yes.
Speaking of
Cumgate. But God. You actually bring up an interesting point, and I think Boris Johnson's he's really pleased, and I think a lot of Tories are really pleased because they all hate Cummings. I think he I think Cummings was pulling the strings a bit. Personally, I think he was, he had his hands behind the scenes, and he was a bully, and like he was bullying the lower Tories to fall in line and that kind of stuff. And it honestly wouldn't surprise me if he had something on Boris Johnson.
Do you think it goes that deep? Do you think it goes that deep?
Honestly, I think so.
Do you think it goes that deep? Like,
yeah.
Do you think it's
I'm not usually a conspiracy guy. I'm not trying to be that.
This isn't like a conspiracy. This is just crazy. Like a kind of political observation kind of thing.
But
do you think it goes that deep? Yeah. It happens a lot.
Well, the thing is, right? Like, surely if the bullying thing was true, Boris had just given him a big Brexit ban hammer and just fucking ding dong him out of cabinet, but he just didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's what confused me, right? That's what confused me as well, right? I thought Boris's reaction. Okay, right. Maybe it was really harsh. We don't get to see all those things, and that sort of stuff never gets documented, so we'll never know. To be honest. Okay.
Well, we might never know. You never know. You know, these things can come out like.
Yeah, but. Looking at the way things are in their current relationship and the sort of cohesion in that cabinet at the moment and the sort of atmosphere that they're trying to put on, I don't think we'll find out for like a very long time, unless one of them writes like a biography and he's like, oh yeah, Boris fingered me ass or whatever. Yeah. We're never going to find out, right? But I genuinely thought it'd be a lot more harsh, the reaction. I thought he'd be gone. Because I think at the moment, I don't know, personally, the way I see it, I think Boris is hanging on by the skin of his teeth. Okay. I initially, when the whole lockdown thing started, I thought people were being a bit too harsh on him, because we were only basically the UK had only been majorly affected by that. The UK really only had an outbreak for like 2 weeks or something like that when he started doing his things. It wasn't as long as some other countries like France or Italy. Okay.
Yeah.
And I thought people were being a bit too harsh on him, but obviously, hindsight's 2020, and then now you can make these observations and statements. Oh yeah, maybe he didn't act quick enough. Maybe it wasn't good enough. Because of that, I seriously think, I don't know if he realizes or not how much in the shit he is right now, and if he does, he's gonna be blaming Dominic Cummings a lot. And if somebody's gonna get ejected from there, it's gonna be him. It's gonna be Dominic Cummings. It's gonna be him. I'm just saying.
So, yeah, I think that is the like two possible things, or the main two, which is either Dominic Cummings has his fingers up Boris's ass and he's got something on him, or they're good mates, but Boris is going to have to throw him under the bus.
Yeah, at a certain point. Okay, here's the thing with things like this though, is again, like, in a week, is this still going to be in the news? Like, do you think it's still going to be in the news in a week? Because I have a feeling that there's a 50-50 chance between it staying relevant and it just not forget about it, but it doesn't become as relevant as it is right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a 50-50 chance of that happening, right? And if it stays, and it stays at this level of like ferocity, right? Because he has to go. He has to go, whether Boris wants it or not. He has to go, right? He's hanged on to Cummings. He's kept him for this long for a reason. Okay, he's not stupid. He has I say mastermind.
Well, he's an effective bully.
Yeah, I say mastermind, but Cummings has basically masterminded everything we've seen so far. And if you get rid of him,
apparently,
then who have you got left? I mean, Boris isn't going to do it himself.
Sorry, you go on, Ben.
It just completely depends, right? Because stories like this tend to just, fade away conveniently. But I feel like he's gonna do something else. Like if the fucking cunt's gonna go on a road trip, like he's gonna be like in the epicenter of England, and he's just gonna drive all the way around everywhere. But obviously that's hypothetical. But I feel like there's no way this story should go away. It's like, especially when we haven't got a lot really going on right now. Like in terms of, it's literally the media is all about coronavirus, obviously. So surely, as long as this stays in the news, he'll lose his job. So it should be the press's responsibility to keep researching it. But,
I agree.
But some of the methods, not the best. Standing outside his house, not keeping your distance, bit retarded. Retarded.
Yeah, I agree.
I completely agree with both points. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the most pressing thing you bring up is he's going to go around on a road trip and just cough on old people, and just
He's
see
going
what
to go to
happens.
Buckingham Palace and kill the Queen.
Oh yeah. Do you want me to say that point?
Yeah, bring it up. It's hilarious.
So a friend of mine came up with this theory. His name's Will Morel. I'll drop him in there. And basically, he kind of realised that technically under our law, the death penalty is illegal, but because we have like conventions, because we have an uncodified constitution, it can technically happen. Obviously, it wouldn't, but it can technically happen. And Dominic Cummings went out breaking the rules of coronavirus, and what he's doing is endangering the lives of, I think they call it like the shielded population, which is, you know, people above 90, people with serious health conditions. Somebody who falls into that category is the Queen. She's above 90, and because she's above 90, she falls into that shielded category, and technically Dominic Cummings is endangering her life or making an attempt on her life. So
Dominic
technically,
Cummings is going to assassinate the Queen.
Yeah, Dominic Cummings can be executed for treason.
Come treason. Oh my god, this man.
Man's gonna get executed, basically.
He's gonna go on all fours into Buckingham Palace, coughing.
Queen's like, "Where's my corgi?" Pats his disgusting head. He looks like Steve Buscemi a little bit. I don't know why.
Oh
Actually, I
He
say
looks
that. I say that.
B-Tech Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, I say that. He looks nothing like Steve Buscemi. He's the top right from his eyebrows up, maybe, but obviously his face doesn't look like anything like him. But his head, it looks like a flesh lump.
Well, the thing is, I'd never seen what he looked like before Cumgate. I'd like heard of him. I knew everything he was doing. I knew everything he was doing. I knew all of that. I knew he was, you know, had his fingers puppeteering and all that jazz. So I thought, oh, you know, he's probably this like good-looking, like business guy in a suit and whatever. And then I saw a photo of him, and I was like, how the fuck have the Tories let this nonce fucking control the government? He looks like he shouldn't be like
he doesn't
anywhere
look like a
near
real
a
person.
school.
He doesn't look like a real person, no. He doesn't look like a real person.
He looks like the brother of that bald nonce. You've ruined my old day, guy.
Oh.
You know one? No.
He doesn't look real, basically. I mean...
No.
So... Okay, but... Right, so let's move on to Boris and his cabinet in general. I think... Right, well, there's going to be a lot to unpack here. There's going to be a lot to unpack here. I think overall... I think they've done a bad job. Do you guys contest that very vague overall opinion? I mean, I can go into more detail if you want, but I think overall, he's done a poor job. And actually, as it would with any politician, okay, this is going to cost him really badly, right? Because when he won that election in December, I say him, when the Conservatives won by a landslide in December, I seriously thought that if Boris and the Conservative Party played their cards correctly, that could be Labour out for another, basically, term.
Same.
Like, I seriously thought it would be over, because here's the thing with people like Corbyn. Okay, here's the thing with people like Corbyn, right? People, this really annoys me. People very easily are just like, oh, I don't like Corbyn because he's too left. Well, first of all, that doesn't mean anything, because when you ask them, oh, why is he too left, and they don't say anything else. Obviously, this isn't everyone, but a lot of people I know are like that. It's like, oh, I don't like Corbyn because he's too left. Right. Most people are like that, unfortunately. Right? So...
A lot of people, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are like that. Right? And it's the same with basically just ignorance towards Boris as well, to be fair. But we're talking about Corbyn. Things with Corbyn, because people perceive him as too left, when you make Corbyn your leader of the party, and you make him this figurehead, you are going all in. Okay, and they lost massively in that election for various reasons, not just Corbyn's fault. Okay, when you go all in on a leader like that, you have to win. You have to win. Okay, let alone, I mean, you can lose, And it's not going to be great. It's still going to be devastating. But if you lose like that, then you're out. You're out for the next 10 years. Genuinely, right? You lose faith. You're going to lose faith from the voters, basically. People that normally vote for you because it's like, oh, I don't like Corbyn. He's too left. Well, you go all in with this quote unquote too left leader, and you lose like that, then you're out for 10 years. But this coronavirus might have saved Labour.
I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Labour won the next one, if I'm honest, right? Because we've got a new leader, obviously,
and a bit more centre left as well.
Yeah, but a lot. I know this sounds weird. I know it might not sound realistic, but a lot of because it's not Corbyn, a lot of people will be more inclined to vote Labour now.
Yeah, no, like, it's not weird. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but the guy could have obviously it's different from Corbyn, but he could present similar ideas to Corbyn, and then people would just be like, "Oh, it's not Corbyn, I'll still vote for you."
I agree.
You know what? I think if I can't remember his first name, Stamner, isn't it?
Keir
Stamner. Keir Stamner, right? If he presented the exact same ideas as Corbyn, but it was him, then it would be fine. If it wasn't this kind of Karl Marx looking guy.
Yeah, because he's not 90.
Yep.
He's not decaying.
It's this 40-year-old, decent looking white dude, looks like a businessman, very generic looking person. They're gonna vote for him purely because
he looks so generic.
I know, he looks so generic, right? God. And his background is very normal for an MP.
This is default NPC.
Yeah, he's literally a default MP, right? NPC. Nothing like Corbyn, right? Because Corbyn had that kind of... Corbyn had that kind of idealistic socialist upbringing where it's like, he's not from a rich family. He's worked his way here sort of guy. Do you know what I mean? It's like the kind of guy you want... That
you actually want as a leader.
You don't want this snobbish private school jerk-off. You want this working class person, basically. Like a person that you can relate to. And because of that, ironically, because of that background, I feel like people are less inclined to vote for him. Because people are like, oh, he's too left. Well, that still baffles me. When people say, oh, he's too left. Like, there's nothing wrong if you said, oh, I don't like his specific policy towards taxation or nationalising this industry or whatever, right? But if you just say, oh, he's too left, and then somebody asks you, oh, what do you mean by that? Like, which one of his policies goes too left for you? And they just don't know what to say.
Yeah,
it's the same. It's the same with people like, oh, it's too right. Well, what does that mean? What?
Well, this guy, he wants to nationalise the trains, and I think buses even said he wants to nationalise, just like Corbyn did. Although I think the one thing that definitely differentiates between the two is his opinions on police and military.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to go into the EU military or whatever Corbyn wanted to do. He wants to he actually wants to boost it a little bit. He wants to boost the police as well.
That's fair enough.
You
can understand why he wants to do that, because they are a bit of a shambles, but that's
British police is interesting. We could have a whole episode dedicated to that.
Yeah, we definitely could.
Definitely could, because I think I'm gonna go ahead and just say this as a general statement. You can disagree. I think most people have a mixed view on British police.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as straightforward as American police, where people will be either very one way or very another way. I think that's a very American thing to be one way or another way anyway, to be honest.
Yeah, we're very grey middle area.
But I think even so, I think British police is very one way or another, to be honest. Not one way or another. You're going to be mixed views. Because I can see both sides, the anti-police and the pro-police, but...
I'm not anti-police. I'm hold on.
I mean, I think a more accurate term would be police skeptic, if you know what I mean. A lot of people go around, content for another episode.
Yeah, what I was just going to say is I'm not anti-police. I'm pro policies that kind of mean we don't need as much police, doing more education and more young therapists for kids and that kind of thing, where which means that you won't
So
more
tackling
infrastructure.
the problem before it becomes a problem. Yeah,
exactly. The source, go straight to the source.
So going back to Corbyn, Labour, and their future, basically. Yeah, the coronavirus might have saved Labour, genuinely. And that is... We can come back to this in like 5 years. I don't know if we will, but let's say if we come back to this in 5 years. I seriously think that coronavirus have saved Labour's future. Because if it wasn't for this and Boris screwing up, I think he screwed up, anyway. If it wasn't for this and most people losing faith in Boris, genuinely, Labour would have been out the contention for controlling the Parliament for 10 years. 10 years, I'll tell you, 10 years.
I completely agree. Even with this current leader, even though he could be everything that we've wanted, the stain, even though I don't think he was personally, the stain that Corbyn left on certain people's minds would have affected.
Yeah,
Labour.
I mean, we say stain. That has like a negative connotation to it, but I know what you mean. The kind of point is that
he went in hard and he lost.
You go all in with these people, right? I feel like that's a bit unrelated, but like Bernie Sanders, okay? I feel like that's why Bernie Sanders can't quite get a foothold, because American politics is already kind of rigid. It's already set there, right? Yeah. For somebody like him to try and bulldoze his way through, it's nearly impossible.
Completely agree.
For the Democrats to go all in on someone like Bernie Sanders is suicide. Unfortunately, that's how I see it. There's less chance of somebody like Bernie Sanders breaking through in a US system than there is in a British system.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, because we've had similar politicians to Corbyn before in the past. Fairly radical. I say radical again. It's got a negative connotation, but that's not necessarily too bad.
Not really. Negative. Radical isn't that negative.
Clement Attlee was considered radical in his time, and
but he won, so now he's not.
And exactly. Radical. So he won, and he did this, right? You imagine if Corbyn won, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
No.
Well, I say imagine if Corbyn won, if he was successful as well.
He'd be out now.
Yeah.
I'm glad he didn't win.
Yeah.
Because
actually, that's an interesting point. Does events, specifically the coronavirus, is this basically just, would this kill any politician, or has Boris messed up himself?
Well, it's a very hard situation, overall, but it would depend on the politician, obviously. I don't think it would have, just completely ruined any politician. I feel like it's Boris's fault, really. But to be honest, right, Boris is lucky in terms of he does have a way to redeem himself, right? Because one of the main driving points behind the recent election was Brexit. Now, how Boris handles coronavirus and Brexit will essentially make or break his time in power, right? If he handles Brexit well, I feel like he won't necessarily fully redeem himself, but he'll kind of redeem the Conservative Party to a certain extent, where it's not gonna mean that Labour will necessarily win. But if he fucks up Brexit, and handling it all, right, economy wise, including with this coronavirus thing, I think it will cause a complete devastation to the Conservative Party. So if he fucks up Brexit and doesn't redeem himself through his handling of it, it will probably mean that Labour will end up taking power, because I feel like most people lose faith in the Conservative
not only
Party.
faith as well, but you lose trust because of things like Cumgate. You lose. There's a difference between faith and trust, I think, right? What you saw in the December election was a lack of faith in Labour. People still trust them. They've not done anything dishonest or backhanded or something. Okay, but Cumgate changes it all. Now people don't trust the Conservative government, and because Boris didn't just go straight up sicko mode on Dominic Cummings in public, would you trust him now as well? That's the problem.
No.
Yeah.
I agree. He's fucked it, really.
He's messed up, I think. Okay, right now he's screwed, right? But let's say we go back in time a few days ago, right? And the day after the Cumgate happens, Boris Boris Johnson goes out to the public and says, I am making him fuck off. He's out.
Yeah, he's firing him.
Right? If that would happen, I think that would put a bit of trust into Boris.
I think it would help. But I think he's already fucked it a bit when he did the whole...
herd immunity thing. Yeah,
literally what I was about to say, yeah. when he goes, yo, let's do herd immunity, lads. And everyone's like, but I mean, if that's what we're doing, fine. And then 2 weeks later, he's like, all right, lockdown, let's fucking go. Which, what?
He did that because he didn't want to take the gamble. He didn't want to take the gamble. He didn't want to take the gamble.
Trying to appease everyone.
You can't appease it. We've learned that with Corbyn. You can't appease everyone. It doesn't work.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to do. It's not working, but he's trying to do that.
So what you've got to do is you've got to look at like South Korea. They're a completely different society, but look at what they did. One person got it. They found that person, right, and they traced everybody they'd spoke to for the last 2 weeks or something, and then they isolated all those people, even if they didn't have symptoms, to make sure.
They never went into lockdown either, actually.
No, because they tested. They've just churned out all these tests. They tested. They advised people, look, just chill for a bit, be really careful, just chill while we test. Everyone did that. Over here, it was like, guys, stay vigilant. And then we had lads on the fucking beach sharing spliffs.
Yeah.
I know for a fact I didn't take any of that shit seriously because the government wasn't taking... This is like before, when we were doing herd immunity, I swear to God, no, it was only like less than a week before the actual lockdown, people started realizing, this isn't good.
This is serious.
We need to go into lockdown.
During the whole herd immunity phase, so we're talking like 3-4 weeks before lockdown, that's when the government started ramping things up, to be honest. Right? Did anyone actually wash their hands more? I know. Right?
I mean, yeah.
I did, but But if we did a general consensus of the entire population, I don't think so.
Well, I think if we'd have done it, it would have proved accurate results because people would have just lied. But I think we could all sense that.
I don't think
people definitely didn't.
No way.
I think basically a week before, I'll just give you like a little anecdote. A week before, maybe like 2 weeks before lockdown. That's only 2 weeks. You realise nobody even knew what was going on. Everybody was still going out like clubbing and shit.
Yeah, it's just normal still. It's completely
I
normal.
remember literally sharing a cigarette with somebody like 2 weeks before.
Yeah, it's completely normal until lockdown.
Yeah.
I think, there's always constant comparisons between Western countries and like Japan and Vietnam and Taiwan and countries that have seemed to basically survive this problem, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, there's the whole government thing, but there's a kind of cultural thing as well.
Yeah. They're more of an antisocial society.
Those societies, they got hit by SARS not very long ago, so they're ready basically. But also, I feel like we've kind of in this country, like I don't want to like, I'm not trying to make it sound bad or anything, but we kind of don't have that sense of like duty almost.
Yeah.
Like not in like a militaristic sense. Not in like a militaristic or like nationalistic or patriotic sense or whatever, but just like in general, there's a lot of
fellow human beings.
Yeah, genuinely, it doesn't have to be anything political or complicated or anything like that. It's just care for people, sort of thing. And I don't think we've ever seen it any worse than we have now, because I don't think we've had anything as serious as anything now, to be honest, in this new modern post World War II era, to be honest. So, and actually, it was, I can't remember where it was. I saw a video of it on Twitter. Just some people on the beach having a fight. Anyone else seen that? Yeah, I think it's.
No, I haven't seen it.
Like maybe like Norfolk or something. Loads of people on a beach having a massive brawl. The police were called because two people got into an argument and these two men started punching each other, and then everyone joined in, had a massive brawl on the beach.
Just fucking idiot.
It's not that long ago. Let's be honest. I don't think they do that 2 weeks ago, but because the government eased down their lockdown rules, people think it's okay all of a sudden.
It's like we're easing down lockdown. Oh, what did you say, Boris? Coronavirus is dead. It's over.
It's not.
No.
Here's the thing, right? Let's say the government ends lockdown completely. No strings attached. tomorrow. That doesn't mean it's gone back to normal. Okay,
No.
For two reasons.
I will say.
Yeah, for two reasons. Obviously, the government can make poor decisions. Okay, but also because it's just not over anyway. Like, you have to be dumb to think it's over just because the government say so. In fact, the government never said it was over. They're just easing lockdown.
Yeah.
So for you to go out and do whatever you want, go to parties, do whatever you want immediately after lockdown is hilariously retarded.
Dumb.
Like, I cannot put it into words. It's dumb. It's stupid. It's dumb. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah, well, like, you're gonna have to give it some time. So I think I have this awful feeling that they're gonna end lockdown sometime in June. They're just gonna end it then. So I don't leave my house anyway because I'm a bit of a fucking retard, right? But people should take measures, right? I'm not gonna leave this house properly if they do end it in June to like late July. Or maybe mid-July.
Yeah, I mean, you have to gauge the situation yourself, right? But there's some people that I know who, they said as soon as the government says okay to leave, they're gonna have a party basically. And look, I
know people like that.
I 100% understand why you would want to do that, right? But there's some other things that I also wish to happen. I also wish for world peace and the end to world hunger. But guess what? You can't just have it. Okay, you can't just have it, right? And another thing as well, masks is an incredibly somehow I find it baffling that it's a controversial thing.
I mean, if the government was just a bit clearer on all this shit,
if the government were clearer,
I'd just rather they were like, "Yo, just don't fucking leave your house. Just don't leave. You can go out once a day. There you go. Boom, done."
Not even that. I mean.
They eased it, and when they eased it, they just made it more complicated. It was like, yeah, you can go see your other parent if your, parents are divorced, but you can't as long as you stay inside and outdoors at the same time. It's just too confusing. Just
literally
say something.
Exactly. And also, here's the thing with that as well. If it gets worse, they can't go back. The thing is with these lockdown things, it's a one-way street, right? You go lockdown, right now you ease into lockdown, you ease out of lockdown. You can't go back. You can't go back. You can't go back because the general population are gonna. The general population are the same people that said Corbyn is too left, and then didn't develop on that point further. The general population are the same people that are gonna go to a nightclub the day after lockdown is over. The general population are the same population that will riot when Boris says, "Actually, I made a mistake. We're going back."
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a patriotic guy. I usually hate that kind of shit, if I'm being honest, because just be patriotic to the human race and just being nice. No need to be patriotic to a country. But I will say that something that's resonated with me is how the fuck are we related to the generation that survived the fucking Blitz, but we can't stay in our house for a couple fucking months? Guys, please relax.
Yeah, when Boris was talking about having a Blitz spirit, when he said that, I was like, we're not the same generation, Boris.
No, we're not.
It's optimistic to think that we could have a Blitz spirit through this, but no, it's not.
Also, when you got shit like social media, I think people don't realise that during the Blitz, there were people going, "No, I'm going to leave my light on. I'm going to go outside." But the fucking police were there like, "I will fucking shoot you. Stay inside."
Yeah, they had a night watch.
Yeah, they did shit like that. Now, people long off, the police going to break up us during lockdown. No, they're not. Well, they fucking should. Because you're endangering people's lives. Same as if somebody left their light on. But because social media exists, you see all those opinions now. Those opinions are there for you to see. Back then, the government could control the people who were leaving their lights on and shit. You wouldn't have heard of them unless they lived on your street, kind of thing.
Literally, it all comes down to a bit of problem from the government, right, and a lot of problems from the people, right. As much as earlier we were like lambasting Boris and Cum and all that, right.
Mm-hmm.
There's no sense of collective responsibility from the population, and particularly in Britain. Let's not even talk about the USA. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we're not going.
We're not going to America yet. That can be a whole over episode.
Yeah,
but I don't know what else to add. I was gonna say something, but I've forgotten.
Basically, we don't, as a population. Yeah, you're right. We don't have this collective responsibility. We don't, and maybe we never will again. Or at least we never will voluntarily. What the government needs to do is, even if they go back, people might be pissed, right? You're fully correct. People are going to be livid. But like Boris just needs to just knuckle down and stop trying to save his political career.
Yeah.
And just go, you know what?
Yeah, I agree.
Fuck it. He just needs to go, fuck it. Get the fuck inside your house. And then what I genuinely think he should do is get some of the military into the police force.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, actually.
Create a night watch or whatever, and just make sure people are safe, and then put all of the fucking funds necessary into tests and vaccines and shit like that. Just let's get this done.
It doesn't have to be this long.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be this long.
Shitting ourselves about people's political careers. No. Let's just get it done.
What Boris has to do here is that he has to go Jeremy Corbyn mode. He has to go all in. He has to go all in, right? And he has to take gambles. He has to take risks in order to survive. Because even if he focuses completely on resurrecting and keeping his political career alive after the coronavirus, okay? Even if he focuses on that, it's not going to be enough because people have already lost trust in him because of Cumgate. It's too late.
If he does that, there's going to be no after coronavirus.
Yeah, Boris, you're on a decline right now. Do you want to be the Prime Minister in charge of another UK recession, of which we still haven't recovered from the last one, or the one before? Or do you want to be the one that basically Winston Churchill did? You know, the one that was basically mental. He did what everyone said. He did what everyone said don't do, and then it worked. Okay, and then you'll be remembered as the one that nobody thought was good enough, and then was good enough. Like, he could do that. Genuinely, he could do that. He has the charisma to do that.
He'll get removed from power right after because, you know, he's not a good prime minister. Like, Winston Churchill wasn't a great prime minister.
But he was a good leader through a crisis.
Yeah. But he wasn't just a good prime minister. He just did well in the situation he was put in.
Yeah.
But, like, there was a reason he wasn't elected right after the war. Like, and that's because, like, he just wasn't a good peacetime leader. That's fine. That's okay. Boris, that's fine. Go down as the Winston Churchill who gets removed right afterwards, and the left wing comes in and does something important.
You get the Clement Attlees coming in.
Yeah, do that. Do that for all we care. Because, honestly, if you do that, you'll go down way better than the guy who tried to save his political career for 4 years while half the population died from coronavirus.
So actually, when this whole lockdown thing started sort of brewing and the rumours started coming about when lockdown would begin in March, everybody that I was talking to thought that the military would take over. There would be some sort of resemblance of martial law because we saw that in other countries. We kind of saw that in China. Obviously, we don't quite know. And
I used to live next to a base, and there was so much movement around the base. We thought that the army was coming in.
Yeah, and we kind of saw that in Italy and in France as well. Basically, the French equivalent of like the National Guard kind of took over and replaced the police, basically, and they were enforcing lockdown very heavily with very heavy fines. And you kind of saw that in Italy as well, where the police were literally walking around the streets on the motorbikes and yelling at people, okay? Everyone thought that sort of thing was going to happen. But then we had this 2 weeks of herd immunity bullshit, and then he went into lockdown. And even when he went into lockdown, realistically, not a lot actually changed. The government basically gave you a slap on the wrist if you broke lockdown, to be honest. Like, let's be honest.
Not even.
Not even. Like, I mean, like, the rules was, you don't meet other households, and you can go outside and exercise once a day. I don't even think they should have done that. I think they should have just said stay in your house. Straight up.
Yeah.
Like, exercise is obviously important. Exercise is incredibly important for certain individuals' lifestyles, you know? I understand that. But that's not everyone. In fact, I don't think most people have even used that. And actually, the ironic thing is, particularly in my area where I live, there's more people outside now. Because, you can only go outside once a day. So the government, this is incredibly authoritarian of them, but they should have just said stay inside your homes all the time, unless you need to go shopping, basically, or you need to look after somebody.
Yeah, when I first read the announcement, they were like, you can do one bit of exercise a day. I was like, oh, okay. Fair. You realise, in my head, I was like, you realise people are just going to
go out more than once.
Can abuse this.
Yeah. Because there wasn't an increase. In the cities, it's a bit different. In large cities, it was different. London, in particular, it was different. Okay, but in most places, most places in the UK are not London. Okay, there wasn't an increase. There wasn't an increased police presence. There wasn't a military presence. There wasn't.
I mean, we got an increased police presence here.
I mean, we didn't get one here. We did not get. Nothing changed here, to be honest.
Because they couldn't afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know where. I didn't even realise we had this many police in Brighton. I was just looking around. I was like walking around the streets. I was like, "Yo, we have armed police. What?
We have guns.
We have guns.
No way."
Yeah, I was like, when did this come from?
Yeah, but basically, I think that if the government went hard back in March, they could have lifted lockdown in July, and it would have been okay, or like June maybe.
Fine. It would have been fine.
It would have been a lot better because, I mean, the Cumgate doesn't help.
No.
Cumgate seriously doesn't help because, right, even if they went strict, let's assume that Cumgate would always happen. If Cumgate happened, it'd screw everything up, as it did now. Okay, but if the government went hard in before, they could ease that a lot easier.
I agree, because basically, when this Cumgate shit happened, if they'd gone in hard at first, they could be like, yo, look, he fucked it, he's off. See you later, mate. We're strict. Get out. But because they're so wishy-washy,
they're so in between about what they want to be.
Yeah.
Like at one point, Boris is like this incredibly resolute, strong. We will stand with the British people. The Blitz spirit. I trust in the people of the UK. And then the next day, he's like, oh yeah, Cumgate's all right.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, fuck it. He can leave his house.
It's all right.
Can I leave my house, Boris? Let me get back to you on that.
Oh yeah, actually, it turns out, as of tomorrow, you can go jerk off wherever you want. Nice.
Yeah, public bathroom, go for it, love.
Public bathroom, but you can go to them now. You can go out for unlimited exercise, whatever that means, by the way.
Wait, can you actually go to public bathrooms now?
Well, right, well, he said unlimited. Right, hold on, here's the thing, right? You know when you see those videos on social media of people, like, oh, billion people on Brighton Beach or something? None of them actually get punished.
Yeah, also, you know, people were saying that was fake. Nah, that wasn't fake. I walked past Brighton Beach. That shit wasn't fake.
Why
Some
would
of
you
them
fake it?
were probably over. Like, I saw one photo that somebody put up, and that was from like last summer, sure. But there were a shit ton of people on the beach recently, and all the parks in Brighton are fucking packed all the time. I saw a bunch of people playing basketball, and they were clearly not from the same household. Like, there was like 10 of them.
It's a lot of big household.
It's Brighton after all.
Yeah, and actually, this fucking night, like about 4 days into lockdown, like 4 days. Yeah, it must have been like 4 days. I was walking around. I was just walking my dogs because my one walk of the day, and I saw these 4 lads walking down the like field near me, just sharing a spliff, just smoking, passing it to the next person. They were all smoking it together, and I was just like, lads, are you fucking retarded? Like,
here's actually related to that, right? This statement's always going to be incorrect because I'm not all knowing, all seeing. I'm not God, so I don't know everything, right? But if I am going to blame a certain specific demographic, it's going to be young people.
Yeah.
And that
I completely agree.
Yeah, and obviously that is going to be somewhat incorrect because I am young. So I'm only going to see the perspective of other young people, right, through social media, okay? But here's the thing. They've all broken lockdown so many times. Literally, the week after lockdown was set, I saw people that from my school meeting up with each other. They're not from the same family. They're not even cousins. They're just mates. And they're just having a fag together on the side of a hill. And I saw them do that multiple times. They even visited each other's house. This is before they eased lockdown.
Jesus
and even when they ease lockdown, you're not meant to see other people's households
No, I met one
you meant to
person
stay,
at a distance. That was it.
and you meant to stay 2 meters apart, and they were like, not doing that. Other people, like couples, you meant to stay 2 meters apart. Like, I fully understand. I know what you mean. Like, you missed that person, but rules are rules, unfortunately, and you've got to stay 2 meters apart.
Yeah, I'm putting up with it.
And actually, the irony behind all of this, and I hate to sound like a boomer, but these are the same people that are making fun of Boris Johnson for being incompetent, and then they're not heeding to the basic guidelines that he put out.
Yeah.
And then these are the same people that are saying Boris is doing a terrible job. Well, no help from you.
Yeah.
No help from you at all.
No help from you, man. I mean, if he put out better guidelines, maybe we'd have less of this. But yes, I do get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely still his fault. I'm not taking any of that away from him, but the kind of hypocrisy from certain demographics of people is astounding.
Yeah, I agree.
It's completely astounding, and I mean, I guess it is also his fault anyway, because he's a very easy leader to undermine. I mean, he's never not had this reputation of just being an idiot.
Yeah,
it's always been like this, to be honest.
Should we we'll circle it back to the whole Cumgate and everything.
Yeah, so
what I think is Boris, kind of fucked it with the herd immunity, but it was recoverable. Kind of fucked it with not really setting out strict guidelines when he first did lockdown, but wasn't that bad. It got a bit worse when he did, he loosened lockdown and he wasn't really very clear, and then he kept doing that, and he kept answering questions by not answering them. Yeah, people were losing faith. But then he kind of made up for some stuff, like he did some good stuff with the economy and the loans and everything, whatever. But this Cumgate thing, it just undermines all of that.
It's done. It's over, man.
Any positive, even if he fires him now.
It's too late. You already defended that, man.
Yeah, the thing is, and he's just shown that he can get kicked around if he fires him now. But if he doesn't fire him, he also shows he can get kicked around.
He's had so many second chances to fix this problem.
Yeah.
And he's taken none of them. I think, does this man do that on purpose, or?
Yeah, to conclude, Cummings has got his hands just everywhere. He's a bully.
He's up his arse, yeah.
He's winning. He's arrogant. He's done this to show the UK public, here's my middle finger, bub, because you can't do shit about me. I can break the laws and I'm going to stay top dog right behind Boris. And there's nothing you can do about it. He's setting a precedent that the Prime Minister can do whatever the fuck he wants. And the Prime Minister's closest people, who aren't even elected officials, can do whatever the fuck they want with no punishment. That is the dangerous precedent he's now setting.
And for the future of the Conservative Party, if things keep going the way they are, and then let's say that post-corona there is that economic fallout which everyone is incredibly scared of, and it looks like we are going towards that. I mean, we're in a recession at the moment, so it looks like we are going towards that. Let's say we go towards that. If Boris handles that well, maybe it will redeem, maybe it won't. If he can't handle it well, then we're going to have to welcome Labour back.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Actually.
I think that's the natural conclusion to that. Okay,
yeah.
This is Labour's chance to come back, and I think they've done an okay job with Stammer. I think he when you watch Prime Minister's questions and things like that, or when they can do it at least, he's constantly on Boris's back, and actually he's so calm.
Like, he's calm.
He's so
collected.
Calm. Yeah,
he knows what he wants. He knows he's got the foot up.
This is what
and
they
he's also decisive.
Oh yeah.
Corbyn, Boris, not decisive.
But yeah,
they're always second guessing and going back and doing shit like that. So it'd be nice to have a decisive.
The next 10 years of British politics will be decided by Boris. I mean, that's obvious anyway. But in the next few weeks, in the next 10 weeks, the next 10 years of the Conservative Party will be decided. Okay, Boris, you've got to make the right decisions to not only save yourself, but your country and also your colleagues, because
Boris, don't save yourself.
Don't save yourself. I mean, if you can save yourself whilst also saving your country, I mean, fair play to you. I don't know how you've magicked that together, but if you've managed to spawn that out of somewhere, I mean, fair play. You've got yourself out of a really terrible situation. But I don't think you can.
Yeah. The only way to save himself is fucking over everybody else in the process. What he needs to do is literally just go hard and save the UK population, even if the UK population isn't going to be happy with the way he does it. He needs to go into lockdown, he needs to force people to stay at home, and he needs to make the right decisions, and he needs to get rid of Dominic Cummings.
Cummings got to go. Come sack.
We won't come out, says we won't
come out. Come out, yeah?
Come out.
Yeah.
Right. I thought we concluded that very well. So any parting words, guys?
Fuck Dominic Cummings.
Cumgate, that's my parting word.
Cumgate the cum stain.
Cumgate, the cum stain.
Cum
the
sack.
cum stain on the UK. Oh, actually,
there we go.
Before we go, I just want to say, right, if Boris does screw up, everyone in that cabinet is screwed.
Yep.
Everyone in the cabinet is screwed. Everyone in that cabinet should feel more strongly towards cum sack. Okay, Rishi Sunak, his future, this young politician, his future is on the line right now. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing out for you.
The only person who's actually done a good job was Rab when he or whoever it was who left.
Yeah.
Like that, he's the only one who saved him. He saw it all coming. He saved himself.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Saved his local career.
Let's conclude it there, boys. So remember, Dominic Cummings, the cum stain on the UK. Thank you for listening. This was the Münster Podcast. Any parting words, Ben?
Stay in your home. Stay in your home. Stay in your home.
Stay at home, people.
I've had
Thank
enough.
you for watching.
Stay at home.